justice for all.
Thank you. My name is Deb Reed, and I am a member of the Tomah Rotary Club. We are your hosts for tonight. We're going to begin the night with the mayor and alderperson candidates forum, and then that will be followed by the school board candidates forum. Each candidate has drawn a number for their seating arrangement. Lieutenant Colonel Troy Fox, retired U.S. Army and senior instructor for Tomah's JROTC program, will be our moderator for tonight, reading the questions. Helping with the timing is Rotarian Linda Johnson, Tomah freshman Thomas Youngmeyer, and sophomore Keegan Eagleson. Thank you all for being here to help out. Each candidate has drawn a number for their seating arrangement. They will have 2 minutes for opening remarks. Colonel Fox will then begin the questions. Each candidate will have 90 seconds to answer each question. And the reason they threw the numbers, the first candidate, which is Mr. Dwyer, will answer the first question, and then we'll go down the row. And then Mr. Gomez will answer the second question first, and we'll go down the row, and then so forth. And then when it comes to closing remarks, we'll start on the end with Mr. Devine and work our way back to Mr. Dwyer. And they will have 2 minutes for closing remarks. I would like to thank each of you for coming. Thank you to Greg Hagan for filming tonight's event. Thank you to the members of the media with us tonight. And thank you to Tyson and Cranberry Country Lodge for the space. Good luck to each of the candidates running for positions. And reminder, Election Day is Tuesday, April the 7th. I'll turn this over to Colonel Fox.
All right, it's my first time too, so please be patient.
Yes.
So we will go ahead and start the opening remarks. We'll start with Paul Dwyer.
I'm Paul Dwyer, current mayor, also a businessman here in Tomah, 38 years in the milk hauling trucking business. I have a wife and 4 children, all of them away from home right now with families of their own. I ran for mayor in 24 because I wanted more accountability, more transparency, and a city administrator. We got all of those accomplished in my first 2 years. We have a cohesiveness now that works very well within the city. I think we're in tune. We are clicking like a fine-tuned watch, and I believe that the city is much better off than we were 2 years ago. I'm striving for infrastructure improvements yet, roads, streets that are in. We did get a good news on Friday last week that we have an $8.5 million improvement to county ET. That's something that's been needed sorely in our community for a long time. Due to the county and the city working together, we have accomplished that. So I think that if anybody is in the audience that doesn't think that this is a good thing that's been happening in our city for the last 2 years, I would be hard-pressed to find somebody that would do that or say something like that, because I think we've done very, very well.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next candidate. Candidate Raymond Gomez.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the Rotary Club for having us all here. This election comes down to one simple question. Are we satisfied with where Tomah is, or can we be doing better? Because reality is our population has been stagnant for almost 2 decades. This leads to pressure and rising costs across the board, including property taxes. In addition, too many young people are leaving Tomah. No opportunities, no future for growth, no raising your families here. That's not opinion. That's the direction we're heading, and leadership is directly affecting us. Now you're going to hear tonight that things are steady, that we're doing okay, and that change should be cautious. But here's the truth. Standing still is not success. My name is Remy Gomez. I'm running for mayor because I love Tomah. I'm born and raised here in Tomah. My family raised their roots here, put down ties, where I raised my 3 kids, 2 of which have graduated from Tomah High School, one which is currently a sophomore in Tomah High School. I have a long history of public service. I'm in my third term county board, hoping to go into my fourth term here shortly. Former city council member, and I also was an interim director for Tomah Public Housing, which gives me a direct insight to what we're facing here with the housing crisis. I also know the joys and responsibilities of raising my family here. This is a place where I was raised, where my family struggled, where people in this very room took the time to nurture me and build me into the person I am today. If elected, I'll focus on making it easier for families to live here, for businesses to grow here, and for the community to thrive here. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next candidate, Sean Zabinski.
Hi, thank you, moderator, and thank you to the guests that are here today. I first came on city council, I believe, in 2016, 2017. And I have accomplished a few things myself while I have been on council. Before I get to that, I will start with, I've lived in Tomah. I graduated from Tomah in '93. I moved away, went to college, came back. Most of you might know that I was paralyzed at one time from the neck on down. I bounced back from that. At the same time, while I did that, I went to school. I got my accounting degree. I got a degree in taxes, and I also got a degree in insurance, to sell insurance. I accomplished all of that while being paralyzed. I got on my feet. One day, I had a person that stopped by my door and asked if I would sign their papers to run for council. And yes, and then that was Pam at that time. And I also had a person that stopped by that was running for mayor at that time. The person who ran for mayor became a mentor, and this person said to me, "You have a good sense of knowing of what's going on in the city." And all I did was just keep up with the newspapers and with the news. Never really thought much of it. Before I thought about it, I put my name in, and I got elected. Since then, I have helped a couple families, one get a new shed put up that took the stress off from the city and both parties.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to the next candidate, Daniel Crippen.
This is, we're not supposed to be in electronics, but this was my intro. This is the only part that I'm uncomfortable with talking about myself, so thankfully Eric has allowed me, I will put away my iPad afterwards. Good evening and thank you for being here. I also want to thank the Rotary Club for hosting tonight's forum. This isn't something you're required to do, it's a service you're choosing to provide for our community, and I truly appreciate the time and effort behind it. My name is Daniel Krigo, and I'm a lifelong resident of Tomah. This is home, where my wife and I are raising our 3 kids and where we plan to stay. Like many of you, I see both the strengths and challenges in our city, and I care enough about Tomah to want to be part of making it the best that we can. Professionally, I work as a utility engineer focusing on network infrastructure and long-term planning. Those skills are important for effective city leadership. I'm also honored that my candidacy has been endorsed by the Wisconsin AFL-CIO, a labor union that organizes working families across our state. I take that endorsement seriously as a reflection of my commitment to supporting workers and strengthening our local economy. Just as important, I have stayed active in our community. I serve on the Boys and Girls Club and secretary of our church council. I'm the lead organizer of the Tomah Area Mobile Pack for Feed My Starving Children, along with helping coordinate Monroe County Pride. A recent moment that I'm proud of was riding the holiday train with my daughter Natalie, where we had the honor of joining the mayor in accepting a donation for Neighbor food pantry. I was honored to be nominated at this year's annual chamber banquet for both Ambassador of the Year and Volunteer of the Year. I'm an active member of Peace Lutheran Church, and next week I'll begin coaching the middle school boys track and field team. Both keep me connected to our young people and families. Last year I ran for school board and received the most votes in the city of Tomah. That experience showed me how much people care about this community, and it strengthened my commitment to serve. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Move on to the next candidate, Eric Devine.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the Rotary Club for hosting this forum. These conversations are the heartbeat of a healthy local government. My name is Eric Devine. For the past 2 years, District 6 has been represented by my son, Patrick Devine. I've watched his work with a lot of pride, specifically his role in bringing our new city administrator. That move was a turning point for Tomah, providing the professional stability we need to manage our growth. As Patrick steps back to focus on his studies, I'm asking for your vote to ensure the momentum doesn't skip a beat. I moved to Tomah 5 years ago, and it didn't just feel like a new town. It immediately felt like home. I fell in love with the people here, and I've been busy putting down roots ever since. Whether I'm exploring our local historical sites, as some of you might have seen, enjoying a night of karaoke at our local one of our local spots, I believe a representative should be have an active part in the community they serve. My leadership style was forged through 20 years of service in the Army and the National Guard. In the military, my job was logistics. That taught me 2 things that are vital for City Council: how to manage a budget under intense pressure and the absolute necessity of clear and honest communication. Currently, I serve as your Monroe County Supervisor. On that board, I've made it my mission to be one who reads the fine print, who doesn't rubber stamp proposals. I ask the tough questions of directors. Thank you for your time.
All right, we'll go ahead and start with our question phase. We'll start with candidate Dwyer first. So the question is, what are Tomah's strengths it has to offer businesses and residents, both current and potential ones? And what are weaknesses we need to improve on?
Well, I think our strengths are our good city team the people who work in the public works, all the departments, keep everything moving in the city. I think that the other thing is that we have the ability to, for growth right now, and there are several things in the works as far as businesses coming in. We can't talk about them right now, but they have expressed serious interest in coming here. I think the other thing is we have made Tomah a lot more business friendly. With the TID districts helping out with some of the financing, it's not as much as we'd like, but it's the fact is that with new growth and new taxation, we will become a lot more effective in getting businesses and helping businesses established here.
All right, thank you. Would you like me to restate the question, candidate Gomez? Okay. What are the Tomah's strengths it has to offer businesses and residents, both current and potential ones? And what are the weaknesses we need to improve on?
All right, let's start with the second one first. Things we need to improve on. As I said, growth in a workforce, housing capability that sustains growth first up. Right now, we don't have places to put workers. We continue to grow our business more than we grow our residential platform. We're going to have an exacerbation of what's happening now. People are taking this money that they make here, rightfully so, back to the communities where they live, because it's easier to commute. We live in an area here where we have Walmart DC, we have Toro, we have Cardinal. Vast majority of them come from the outside. That hurts us, and no blame to them. There's not housing for them. I think that zoning restrictions or zoning revamping would be a great thing. It's nice to see that we do have a knowledgeable administrator that's gonna be able to tackle these things. But ultimately, that comes from the direction of council and the direction of the mayor. So that direction needs to be given to those folks to go out and do that. This isn't just something that happens. Again, growth equals more tax base, growth in your business equals more sales revenue. That's a win-win for the city of Tomah, which ultimately lowers your tax burden in your mill rate. We're not all here to save every dollar, but every dollar has value. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll read the question again, if you don't mind. What are Tomah's strengths it has to offer businesses and residents, both current and potential ones? And what are the weaknesses we need to improve on?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I'm gonna start with the last part of that question of what we could improve on. One of them would be affordable housing. We see a lot of apartment buildings going up. The rent price of those apartments are going up. That is not taking into consideration our lower income population. That's one concern that I have. Another concern would be, I know that people are always looking for things for kids to do in the community. Eventually, it would be my dream someday to see a YMCA come to town. I also would hope in the future that the senior center would have a new place for the seniors. Seeing that Monroe County, that Tomah is the only one that offers a place for seniors currently. And it's a very good program to have. Things that we could improve on would be that, am I done?
Okay, I'll repeat the question again, kind of heard you. What are Tomah's strengths it has to offer businesses and residents, both current and potential ones? And what are the weaknesses we need to improve on?
Well, I've lived here my whole life as a resident. I'm happy. I like it here. This is where I choose to be. I could be in a different place, but this is where I want to raise my kids and be with my family. So I love it here. When it comes to other people, I hear some things about improvements that they could do. But quite honestly, I'm not running for council to create issues or to bring something up that's not an issue. So as far as city council goes, the way that we can improve things is by getting feedback, voting on things, yay or nay. It's a 50-50 shot of whether you're gonna get it right. And I would vote on it, the things that are brought to the council to approve or deny. That would be my way of improving the city. And while I appreciate the YMCA, I'm on the Boys and Girls Club. Boys and Girls Club have been in Tomah for 25 years. I'd love to see them. I would love to see the Boys and Girls Club take the higher spot than the YMCA. I'm not opposed to it. But I'm a Boys and Girls Club boy.
All right, thank you. And I'll read the question one more time for you.
Yeah, bring it on.
What are Tomah's strengths it has to offer businesses and residents, both current and potential ones? And what are weaknesses we need to improve on?
Well, our location is a strength for Tomah. We sit right there at the intersect of 90 and 94. We're in a better strategic location than Sparta is. The funny thing is a lot of towns with less population, but you see the growth is it's incredible. Tomah has, I think one of the strengths of Tomah too is the people. I mean, there's a lot of neighbors helping neighbors. I got stuck off of the road and the snow, was slid right into a ditch. My son did it first. And I did it the next time, and people are there to help, which I find it just awesome. And that, and the people helping when the snow was, you know, in your driveway, I had people help me there. So I think the people are a huge strength. Now, some of the weaknesses, we do have a drug problem in Tomah, and I think that needs to be addressed, and we need to do something. And I think it's important, I'm on the County Board of Supervisors, having that tandem between the county, the city, and the school, being able to all work together and coming up with solutions to help out. I think is important. And the downtown part is a weakness too, and that's the missing buildings. Somebody said it's like a teeth missing, you know, out of a set of teeth. Anyway, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. For our second question, we'll start with candidate Gomez. The question is, what three steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
Oh, just three? 3 steps. Well, first off, again, being a former city council member and a member of the county board, budgeting is not an easy thing. Nobody likes to spend the money on the county board any more than anybody likes the mill rate or the property tax to go up. First and foremost, what I would do is make our budget readable for the public. General majority of the questions I get about our budget is what are we spending and why are we spending it? It's all caught up in spreadsheets and all this. There's a lot of numbers there, unless you're on the committees, it can be hard to follow when you're looking for a simple answer. Secondly, I'd like to see the council opened up more to the public from the standpoint of let's explain what we're doing. Let's get back to department heads showing up at city council meetings and giving the monthly reports and giving that vital information that people have been accustomed to having from their county board. You learn a lot from the speakers and the department head, probably more than you do from the printed agenda. And third, honestly, I would get back to just hopefully figuring out a way for the public to trust politicians. Whether any of us up here like to label ourselves as that, that's exactly what we are. And the faith in the voting bodies across every level is at an all-time low. And we all have an opportunity, no matter who wins here, to change that here in the city of Tomah.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to candidate Zabinski. I'll read the question again. What 3 steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. 3 steps. 1 is to sit down, like we have been, and to work on our fee increases. A lot of fees have not been increased for quite some time. And I know nobody likes to hear that, but we need to get caught up with the times. A second one would be find a way to keep our taxes lower, because I know that taxes are on the residents. We have to find a balance. And the third part would be the people have to start getting involved. We need to hear from the public more than what we do. Because if the public does not come forward to tell us things that are happening, it's hard for the council to take more steps and to be involved with the increases and to help with those costs.
Okay, thank you. I'll read the question again. What 3 steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
One, I would listen to residential feedback from people in District 6. Two, I would rely on our mayor and the city administrator to bring things to the agenda to vote on at council and vote on them as they come, whether they're a good idea or not. Three, I would do the best that I can, you know, it's up to me whether I like living here, it's up to me whether I succeed in Tomah. We have a wide range of, abilities and, you know, I like it here. I don't have a three thing, to do. I just want to vote on things as they come and do the best that I can while I'm doing it, so. All right.
All right, I'll read it again.
Yeah, read it
Yeah,
too.
sure. What 3 steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
Okay, I think one of the important things is the wants versus needs. I mean, there's needs you have to look at, and sometimes it requires taxing, and then there's wants, and you have to sort that out. And I think a common sense approach to things is very important, you know, because these days common sense is not that common, to be honest. Another thing too is, in the Army I managed logistics. That means getting the mission done with exactly what you have. No waste. On the county board, I applied this looking at the fine print to find efficiencies. For example, I voted for public use day at the dumps to keep the service and the local affordable. I won't just rubber stamp everything for new projects. I'll ask exhaustingly every efficiency before we even talk about raising taxes. I did this on the county board and I will continue to do this in city council. I believe in giving our first responders the tools too that they need and to keep the job, to do their job safely. I think I'm about, yep. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Candidate Dwyer will ask the question again. What 3 steps would you take to put our city on a firmer financial footing?
Well, first of all, keeping our tax base where it is, growing it a little bit each year if possible, making the city more able to meet residents' needs, supplying the vital services that we need, fire, ambulance, all of the things that Tomah really can be proud of right now. The other thing is, Alderperson Zabinski touched on it, that is the fee increases. We haven't raised a lot of the fees in the city for over 20 years. So it's time that we get these fees back in line so that we don't have to raise the taxes. It's pay as you go. If you're using a permit, you got to pay for it. The other thing is being successful in Tomah accounts for the help that they get from City Hall, the zoning people, the administrator, public works director. They're all involved in all the things that happen within the city. And it's a very, very, very important part of businesses being successful in the city and residents being taken care of properly.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to our 3rd question, and we'll start with candidate Zabinski for this question. So how do you feel the city should be encouraging new business and economic development in the city? Under what circumstances would you consider using tax incremental financing to attract them?
Repeat that one more time.
Sure. It's a lot there. How do you feel the city should be encouraging new business and economic development in the city? Under what circumstances would you consider using tax incremental financing to attract them?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. This is a good question, and this is what we wanted a city administrator for. The city administrator's job is to bring the economic growth in. That is the main reason, one of the main reasons, I should say, why we got one. And I believe not only is it their job, it's up to the council to accept that growth to come in. And once the logistics have been flushed out, they bring it to the council to vote. I like to see that happen. These businesses that do come in can take advantage of TIF funds if they are available. There's grant funding that they can apply for, and other funding that they can get through or apply through the state, and the administrator can help them. I will end with that.
All right, thank you. You're finished. We move on to candidate Krugel for the same question. I'll go ahead and read it again because it's a little complex.
Sure.
How do you feel the city should be encouraging new business and economic development in the city? Under what circumstances would you consider using tax incremental financing to attract them?
Okay, so I have spent the last year and a half in school board meetings, and after one of the meetings, I had a crash course in TIF and TID by candidate Remy Gomez, and this is my only card that I have. I'm in the industry of acronyms in telephone. I'm not used to city acronyms yet, but my understanding of tax increment financing is that the city creates the TID, property values are frozen at base level, new development increases property values, the incremental taxes are captured. It's used to repay debt, fund the infrastructure, subsidize projects. Infrastructure is heavy spending on roads, utilities, storm, water, and site prep. I do know that there is a $10,000 grant. I believe this would have been part of the revitalization downtown for the storefronts that the city offered, and I do have some business owner friends that took advantage of that. It was amazing for her. She improved her building. She spent roughly, well over $10,000. She spent it, and then once she spent it and gave the receipt, she's receiving that money back. That's a big improvement for downtown, especially a $10,000 grant like that. So that's very helpful.
All right. I'll chip away at this question one more time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get tired of this, aren't you?
No, it's not. It'll get better every time. How do you feel the city should be encouraging new business and economic development in the city? Under what circumstances would you consider using tax incremental financing to attract them?
It kind of falls back to what I was talking before, is prioritizing and the needs versus the wants. But I think looking at grants, and they're currently, the mayor and the council is right now is looking at grants through the city administrator. He's looking at doing that whenever he can. Funding, grants, bonds to pay for different projects that are happening and taking place within the city. But I like the downtown, the Operation Phoenix, which is, did I die? Hello? Oh, now it turned green. Everybody hear me? Operation Phoenix, which is giving a facelift to the downtown Tomah. And I think that's important too, to draw people into Tomah. I think that's important, and I also look at other things too, to bring people in, like the trail. They're talking about having the trail connect from Sparta to Tomah. So there's a hiking trail and a bike trail that will bring people hopefully in. And that's pretty much it for right now. Okay.
All right, thank you. We'll move to candidate Dwyer for this question. How do you feel the city should be encouraging new business and economic development in the city? Under what circumstances would you consider using tax incremental financing to attract them?
Okay, so that's a complex question, and it's not easily answered by a simple, straightforward thing. So, first of all, the city has to sit down and listen to any prospective businesses that want to come here, ask them what they're bringing to the table, then ask what do they need from us. If they vested themselves into the city to actually move their business here, then there's all kinds of different ways that we can try to help them through grants, TIF districts. The TIF money is used specifically for infrastructure usually, for the new business coming in. So the way we get them here is to show them what we have in Tomah. We are the heart of Monroe County, I think, because of the fact that we have the interstate system, we have the rail system, we have all of the corridors, 131, Highway 12. Those are all major highways that run into Tomah and have for a lot of years. So we have transportation, we have all kinds of things that they can take advantage of.
All right, thank you.
Say,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I heard it 4 times. We got it. So, as Dan said, it was an impromptu crash course. I think you did well. One of the key things with a TIF district or a TIF district is typically, unless it's one that helps out other districts, that money stays within that area. But to back up 2 questions ago, to kind of answer this question, one of the strengths that we have here in this community is our chamber and our Rotary, who promote our businesses outside of this area more than anybody would ever know. And what that means is when we get those contacts from businesses, sometimes from direct contact, we do take a look at that, where it fits, does the infrastructure fit. One of the very key things that I think gets missed with a TIF district is if you are not going to invest in it, there's 0 point in having one. 0 point. That is infrastructure. Prime example is the land that we passed on across from the new hospital that abuts the interstate. That's a TIF district. Those should be shovel-ready projects, ready for new business to come in and build, and we should have already capitalized on that prior to this administration. That's a failure on that. Again, if we aren't going to invest in it, close in it, because that's taxpayer money going in to fund these that we could be using on other projects across the board. Thank you.
All right, that wraps up that question. We'll start question 4 with candidate Krigo. Tomah is currently navigating a push for new affordable housing developments. What specific types of housing does Tomah need most, and what is the plan to attract developers to build them?
The type of housing that Tomah needs, I look at that as the people who want to live here. What do they want? You know, having a mixture of residential, condos, apartments, low income, high income. You know, there has to be a wide range for people to be satisfied in living. What was the second part of the question?
The second part is, what is your plan to attract developers who can build those things that you listed?
Well, I would like to promote the pride of Tomah so that people can, you know, say good things about it here, and, you know, that raises confidence. That when confidence increases, that increases private investment, that increases businesses, that increases, you know, culture, happiness of quality of life. You know, there's, you know, as far as something, like I said before, I'm not bringing an agenda to the council. I want to deal with things as they come. So in that, I would rely on the rest of the city council and feedback from residents of what they want and make the best decision based on that.
All right, we'll move on to our next candidate. Now read the question again for you. Tomah is currently navigating a push for new affordable housing developments. What specific types of housing does Tomah need most, and what is the plan to attract developers who can build them?
Pretty much they need all sorts of housing. I mean, I know sitting over at the city council meeting, they were talking about short-term rentals. Now, that's important for military, and we do have a base just, in Fort McCoy, and we get a lot of the soldiers, when they station here, they look for housing. And they might be, for 180 days, I believe that's what they were coming up with. They have that ability to sit there having a house, a place to live, but then they can look for something more permanent, housing. So I think having the short term coupled with having houses, for permanent, people who want to live here forever is important. And that's one of the things too that I know that the mayor and the council is looking into at this time. And I think that's important, and some of the land. Eventually, I think that we might have to fill in a lot of the wetlands. Might be an option too down the road. It's expensive, but it might provide us more land. So that's an option too. Alrighty, I see 15 seconds. Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, candidate Dwyer. Would you like me to read the question?
Read it one more time.
All right, so Tomah is currently navigating a push for new affordable housing developments. What specific types of housing does Tomah need most, and what is your plan to attract developers who could build them?
Well, Tomah sits in a pretty precarious spot. We are built on a swamp. Eric Devine said about filling wetlands. Well, here's the problem. DNR gets involved with filling wetlands. So the kind of housing that we're looking to attract is multifamily duplexes where the price of rent is lower than some of the high-end stuff here in town. We are currently exploring an option with a developer that is going to build 6 units, so 6 duplexes, so that will be 12 more places for people to live. There's a lot of land around Tomah. The problem with it is the expensive part of it. It's very high. They want a lot of money for the good land that's here, that's to our west. And a lot of that is not annexed into the city as of yet. So the developers have run up against high-priced land. And that's the tough part to swallow here in Tomah. So if we can just get somebody to look at a project and go for it, we would have more.
All right, thank you. All right, let's see here. Tomah is currently navigating a push for new affordable housing developments. What specific types of housing does Tomah need most? And what is your plan to attract developers who can build them?
That's a really good question. Question that's going around the state and the region. Housing. How do you attract it? What are you attracting? Mixed use. Your multifamily dwellings, as the mayor said, duplexes. But really what it comes down to is attracting that next generation of folks that are looking to put their roots down here and be here for the same 40 years that most of us have been. And the number one thing those folks look for is schools. And what do your schools look like? How are they? How are they operating? What kind of condition are they in? It's real simple. We dropped the ball on that one as a city when we denied zoning. In my opinion, that hurt us tremendously. That is the number one thing folks look for when they come here, folks, is what are your schools like? They will commute to your job. They will deal with potholes. They will deal with a mill rate if you give the great public services that we have here. But one thing that is going to turn people away more than anything is constant referendums, which we can't always do anything about. That's more at the state level. But one thing we can do is not make it harder for our schools to expand on property that is perfect for them and that would make our community stronger and better for generations coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Zbit, this thing on? Yeah, okay. I'll read the question one more time. Tomah is currently navigating a push for new affordable housing developments. What specific types of housing does Tomah need most? And what is your plan to attract developers who could build them?
Thank you. We do have some apartments that will be going up, that a developer is looking at, which is going to help some families on that level. I know we've had some addition out west of town by the Bank First area there. I was gonna say the Patriot Apartments, or Cranberry Apartments, most people know them as, and the duplexes out there. One thing that I think that we could strive better to do is to serve the people that don't make as much. Now, I'm gonna stress that again. There are people that don't make as much. Everybody has a different definition of what is affordable. We have a population here in town that is struggling. And we need places for them folks. We also need places for CBRF homes and respite homes. And we need more of those too as well. I will pass the mic.
Okay, for our fifth question, we're gonna go ahead and start with candidate Devine. What are your plans to bring life back to our downtown for tourists and locals?
Bringing life down to,
What are your plans to bring life back to our downtown for tourists and locals?
I think the facelift of Tomah, the downtown, would be a good start, that Operation Phoenix. And I think I'd like to see a lot of those buildings restored into maybe some boutiques or something like that, something that people would utilize and shop and bring their families. I think that would be good. Something like the bike trail, the hiking, that would be bringing people, and it would be something that would be noticed. There's other things like, bringing the schools, as far as the building of the schools, I'm kind of a difference of opinion. When it's 177 million for a brand new school and we have a population of 9,500, I'm like, that's gonna kill us. We need to grow our tax base before we look at spending money. Because I don't think it's like the Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. I don't believe that. And I don't think most of you believe that. And thank you.
All right. Candidate Dwyer, I'll ask you a question. What are your plans to bring life back to our downtown for tourists and locals?
Well, we started with Operation Phoenix after the fires. We started meeting with developers. We had public information and input sessions that we held last year out at the fairgrounds. We had people come give their ideas to the people, the city administrator, to myself, and to the alderpersons that were there. They brought their ideas in, told us what they would like to see there. We took that very seriously. Kansas State University did a study. We should have that back by April 15th or so. And we will then have a more clear-cut direction as to where it's going to be or what we're going to do. We also have the ability of Amtrak coming through town. and they did designate Tomah as an intermodal hub. So they will probably start getting off the train, and the one thing we're lacking in Tomah is a good public transportation service that can get people from the train to the downtown area. We're working on that problem too, but as everyone knows, it's not always as easy as it sounds. So we're doing the best we can with what we have right now.
All right, thank you. Candidate Gomez, what are your plans to bring life back to our downtown for tourists and locals?
Thank you. I know I'm running against Mayor Dwyer, but I gotta give kudos for the Operation Phoenix. To be honest, I was forward-thinking to go out to the public and ask for ideas simultaneous. I'm eager to see those, regardless of who wins this and what we can do with that. But I also would like to acknowledge that we have some pretty darn good businesses left there that have been resilient through the times, through the fires, through the missing teeth down there. It's not easy. And as Mayor Dwyer said, this is an ongoing thing. This is something that I look forward to tackling with council, look forward to getting some dialogue on. But again, back to what we have in our chamber and our Rotary and in efforts there, there is some opportunities there for growth. It does look weird now. But I think we do a great job on capitalizing the local things that come through in the tractor pull, the county fair, good old Cran Fest. Again, for the businesses that are there, for the chamber and the organizers, I think we do a darn good job. There's always room for improvement. There's always things we can do better. But some things just are in the control of what you have in front of you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Candidate Savinsky, I'll ask the question, what are your plans to bring life back to our downtown for tourists and locals?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I am looking forward to the new train, and hopefully we get some shots down there. That would be really neat to see. At first, for the downtown Thursday nights, I would be the first person to say I was not a big proponent of that. However, throughout the years, my attitude towards the downtown Thursday night has changed. I like to see how the community comes together. I also believe during this time that more businesses that are downtown can stay open. That was one of the reasons why we had the downtown Thursday nights, was to give those businesses a chance to bring the people that would come down for Thursday nights to go and partake in and to browse their businesses. I would like to see more of that. I would like to see more chamber events. I think that would be really nice to see. I know our cab service, I have my own words to describe that, which is probably not appropriate right now. But we do need Uber, so if anybody wants to be a Uber driver, please feel free.
All right, fantastic. Candidate Krugo, the question goes to you. What are your plans to bring life back to our downtown for tourists and locals?
I think a strong community revolves around the arts and music. I love the Americana music in the park on Wednesday nights. That's where I see people out, about. People are walking around, spending their money. I like the downtown Thursday nights. I think that's, I know that there was debate on location. I love the location. Even if it wasn't there, it should be there. It's a great location for it. Things that I would do to, support the things that are working well. Not everything has to be reinvented. Just, maybe get creative on how to improve the events that we already have. I am excited about the Amtrak. I think that's going to bring some downtown. And I think, our downtown, even though I've lived here my whole life, I think of downtown as about a 2-block area. I'd love to see some of the the main street from the library north, to get some attention that we've been given to the downtown portion. I think of the whole main street as our downtown, or it could be our whole main street downtown. So yeah, I think, one of the, the big things I think is, music and art, and also one of the things that I'd like to look into is why we're charging. I know that I've gotten the answer, but I wonder if the city can budget a way to where we're not charging our musicians and artists to perform and revitalize our downtown by them paying for it.
All right, fantastic. That concludes our question phase. We'll move on to closing remarks, and we'll start with candidate. Correct?
I forgot if he answered that last question.
Oh,
Yeah, he started.
I started it, yeah. I guess I
We'll
did.
go ahead with closing comments. You have 2 minutes, and we'll start with candidate Devine.
Oh, you got me, okay. Thank you again for the time tonight. I hope that through our discussion, you've seen that I'm not a loud politician. I'm not. My 20 years as a senior NCO taught me that the best leaders are the ones that listen more than they talk. On the county board, I stayed true to that, whether it was voting for Public Use Day at the dump, or keeping our services local and affordable, or advocating for a county health inspector. That's a big push for that one. So we have oversight here in the Monroe County instead of Madison. My focus has always been on local accountability. Tomah is growing, and with the growth comes big questions about our schools, our housing, and our city budget. I don't claim to have every single answer tonight, but I do promise you this: I will listen to your concerns, I will study the facts, and I will always vote with a backbone of strong ethics and moral character. If you didn't get a chance to ask your question tonight, please visit my website at www.devineforcitycouncil.com. Better yet, come see me in person at the American Legion on March the 26th. I'd much rather hear what's on your mind than give another speech. I'm Eric Devine. I'm a retired veteran. I'm a dedicated county supervisor and your neighbor in District 6. I would be honored to earn your vote on Tuesday, April the 7th. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
All right, thank you. We'll move to candidate Krieger. You'll have 2 minutes for closing comments.
So as I said, I thought that I was going to be running for school board. One of the seeds that were planted for me to run for city council was the vote on the annexation of the land for the school, like Remy said. It wasn't that I was opposed to the outcome of it. I wasn't a fan of the reasoning why. I thought that the city should do city things and let the school do school things. I thought it was inappropriate, out of place for them to be talking about that they thought that the school district paid too much. That's not up to the city. That's the school district's choice. So that planted the seed of me getting involved. And, I think that it's a better umbrella for the interests that I have. Now with me being on the Boys and Girls Club board, I'd like to improve that program. We're talking about relocating the club, and like Sean's talked about, a different building, and thinking of ways that we can collaborate with businesses and private investors to possibly, create a YMCA type building that would house the Boys and Girls Club or YMCA, and have a place for the students of the school district to go, and a nice place for them to go. The Boys and Girls Club right now currently is not in good shape, so I'm trying to build the support of the Boys and Girls Club, and since I'm going to live here the rest of my life, and I don't know if my kids are going to live here, I just want Tomah to be the best that it can be. And that's why I'm here. I think that I have some good ideas. I'm not a great public speaker, but I can vote yes or no.
All right, thank you. We'll move to candidate Zabinski. You have 2 minutes for your closing comments.
I was just up here, just kind of thinking about what I was gonna say in my last 2 minutes. But it all boils down to one thing. Whether I vote for the city or if I vote for myself, it's not about me. It is really about the people in the community. And if people were to reach out and give us more of what they want, this is how I vote. I take that into consideration of what the people want. It is not just about what council wants. We need that extra input. And that factors into heavily every decision that I make on that council. I don't always voice my opinion, but my vote is my vote on what I do, and I have good reasoning for the way I do vote. With that being said, I believe there are good things yet to come for the city. Each of us just need to have a little faith, like the faith that starts out like a little mustard seed, and it grows, and one day we will get there. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you. Candidate Gomez, you have 2 minutes for your closing comments.
Thank you. Again, thank you, Rotary. Turnout's always good at these. It's nerve-wracking. It's never easy sitting up here under the literal microscope up here. We all have different visions on how we're going to get Tomah to be a better place. Myself and the mayor, we might differ on how we're going to get there, but ultimately, I believe we both have the same goal. But the ultimate question is exactly when I started this. We have one clear choice. Where do we want Tomah to be in 20 years? Because 20 years starts planning yesterday. 20 years means forward thought, not reactive thought. Now, I don't blame everything that we have going on or the issues or struggles that we've had as a city, obviously, on the last 2 years. But I do think we have opportunities to grow, to do better. I think there's always opportunities to grow and do better, myself included. I think through my time at the county board, through asking the hard questions, through asking the super uncomfortable questions, I've gained an understanding on how to communicate in this realm. This is not always a realm where you're the winner, especially on this side. We don't get a vote unless they tie. So the biggest part of this job is learning how to take that seat, learning how to represent every person in this city, regardless if they voted for you, if they agree with you, listening to all 8 council members, listening to every single department head and administrator, and then making up your own opinion through that, through your own experience. And my experience in this community, as many of us have said, is we have some awesome people. We have some awesome people that are getting the pressure put on them unduly, of their own. No reason of their own other than they exist in a town that right now has 0 growth. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Candidate Dwyer, you have 2 minutes for your closing comments. Whenever you're ready.
Okay, so when I was elected mayor 2 years ago, I became mayor not for the position, I became mayor for the people of this city. I listened to them, they call me, they walk up to me on the street, they talk to me, I listen. I take that information back. We talk about it in committee meetings, we talk about it with the city administrator. We all know that public servant life is not always easy, but we do know that we have a job to do. And I take it very, very seriously. And I think that if people who know me or see me, they know I'm always open to everyone. And I do listen. And I love this city. And if you're really vested in this city, if you really believe in this city, you do the right things. Always do the right things. So we were doing budget this year, and we were running into budget shortfalls. So I went home that one night after we had the meetings, and I contemplated, and I decided that I could do the city a favor and help their budget by returning my salary for the year. So that's what I did. I want everybody in the room to know that when I did it, it wasn't for a big show, it wasn't for accolades or anything. It was to help provide insurance for our, not insurance, but a program for our firefighters and our police officers when something tragic happens, that they get counseling.
All right, thank you, candidates and audience members. That concludes this event. Or not.
Okay, so yes, I would like to thank all of our candidates for the positions of mayor and alderperson for attending tonight's forum. They did an absolutely wonderful job, and hopefully you gained some information about them. So, we are running just a little bit late, however, we are gonna take about a 5-minute break. So if anybody who is staying needs to use the restroom, they are out the door and down the hall to the left. And then we're gonna get our school board candidates set up here, and then we'll get started right away with opening remarks from them. So, please come back. Rick, Mr. Murray, pick tile number 1, so he's candidate number 1, so we'll start here and go down the row. Then when it comes to the questions, Rick will answer question number 1 first, and then we'll go down the row, and then Vaughn will answer question number 2 first, and down the row again, just like a round robin type thing. Each candidate has 2 minutes for opening remarks. When it comes to the questions, they'll each have 90 seconds, and then they'll each have 2 minutes for closing remarks. So with that, I think we're ready to go.
Can everybody hear me on the candidates? All right, super. So my first question goes to Mr. Murray first.
Opening statement.
What motivates you to become?
first, right? Opening statements.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
That was way in. So we'll start with the opening remarks.
All right, well, good evening. My name is Rick Murray, resident of Tomah, born and raised here, married my wife in 1999. She's been a teacher in the school district for 28 years. I have been with the Northfield Restaurant Corporation for 32 years, operating some pizza Hut restaurants in the Tomah, Sparta, Black River Falls area. I had 5, and then got promoted to North Carolina, where I took on 7 stores there and overseeing the operations of those as well. So again, with that, I believe I can bring some experience with being able to work with people in different genres, areas, and those kinds of things. And school is important to our cities, and that's why I guess I'm on the board, is I think it's important to try to fill those seats. The other things I do, I guess board chair for the Tomah Public Housing. I'm on the Ethics Committee for the City of Tomah. I'm on the Board of Appeals for the City of Tomah, and also the Ambulance Committee for the City of Tomah. So I'm trying to be involved with just not one thing, but with a lot of things in the city to try to have some input as we go and talk and discuss things along the way. Again, I've had sisters that have been in the school district as teachers and administrators. My grandmother was a teacher in Tomah, the Tomah school, the first north side school, whatever it is. But anyway, so I've been involved with the school and heard things and things. So I'm just looking forward to being able to serve that 3rd term.
All right, thank you. Mr. Keel, go ahead. Opening remarks.
Name is Lon Keough. One of the major reasons I decided to run for school board, I've been going to a lot of meetings, et cetera, but people and parents don't realize when you say drugs. Legal drugs are damaging our school system. you start out, you're autistic, and how can they do a test later on to decide if you're, well, they start out ADHD, then autistic. Well, you can't do a decent test once you've taken drugs for 5-6 years. That is affecting our education. We need to change to this no child left behind. The fake numbers. Well, we got children behind. No, you're gonna graduate anyway. You can't even make change, a lot of them. My hat's off to students that do manage to learn how to make change. And I also am basically appalled that I don't know who's responsible. We talk about bullying. It goes on, kids are swearing and cussing at teachers. That's unacceptable. We actually had a family friend whose 4th grade child no longer wanted to go to school because of bullying, so the child did suicide. That's wrong. How do things get this far? We need to find out why this stuff is happening. I'm sure if I heard about it, there's other ones that have happened. So those are the major things. There's always room for improvement, and that's what I'm looking to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Mr. Ingles, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you to the Rotary Club, thank you for Cranberry Lodge, thank you for the media, and obviously all the attendees today, parents and students who actually showed up. So my family's here, my beautiful wife, and my embarrassed 2 kids who got dragged here. Thank you. Our household is Our household is also comprised of 2 dogs and 8 chickens. We're not from here originally, but we have made our home here since 2016. The reason why is I'm originally from California, but after 9/11 I joined the Army. That 20-year career involved 3 combat deployments and a couple overseas tours on that. But the reason why I'm running is first the support of my family and faith, but the experience I had in the military, there was a lot of good leaders and bad leaders. You learn from both, and honored to have been mentored by many great leaders in my past. But the retention and the climate and just the mood of the soldiers, you could tell who had great leaders and who did not. So that would be first and foremost why I'm running, because I want to restore that faith, because the school is the heartbeat of this community, and I believe that I can make a difference.
All right, thank you. Mr. Geneva, you have 2 minutes for your.
Thank you. Yeah, like Joe said, thank you all for coming. Thank you to the Rotary, for our volunteers that are helping us out tonight. And kind of more importantly, thank all of you for coming. You know, it's great to see the support and people that come and you know, want to find out, educate themselves before voting takes place and things. And for anybody that's listening on the Hague Network or other media, thank you for your attention there as well. And I just want to take a minute to thank our candidates, you know, and our candidates that were before us here for the city stuff. It's not that easy to do. It's not that easy to, you know, come out from behind social media and come out off your couch and run for cities and school boards and things. But I love it. I love doing it and stuff. So I'm a Tomah resident. I've been here my entire life. I grew up, when I was really young, I grew up stocking shelves on a Geneva Red Owl grocery store right away doing that. And then kind of moved on through high school where I met my future wife. And then I began kind of working on the Cranberry Marsh of our now almost 125-year cranberry, or 25-year-old Cranberry Marsh. Me and my wife got married 5 years after high school, and we put 4 kids through the Tomah school system. One of them now works for me, representing the 5th generation cranberry grower there. So our seeds are deep here, our roots are deep here. We've been here a long time, and we're going to be here for a long time. So my wife was a teacher. Both my brothers started as teachers in Tomah, moved on up to administration. One of them, my older brother, is now a superintendent. I have a lot of friends and things that are in the education system, and I just kind of thought, after my kids got out of high school, I thought, now it's my turn. And wanted to join the board and do what I could to make a really good cohesive team. I'm a big kind of team player. So I love to be able to put everybody together and make a really strong team and help lead that along the way. So I'm looking forward to hopefully another term where I can keep working because I don't think my job is done here yet.
All right, thank you. Mr. DeFreitas, you got 2 minutes.
All right, thank you. First off, again, I'd like to thank all of you that came out here today. If without for you being here, we'd be just talking into the wind. So thank you. Thank you for the Tomah Rotary Club for putting this on. This is really a great, mode of transparency here and help educate you when you cast your vote on April 7th. So my name is Ryan DeFreitas. I am not a resident here like a lifetime, but I did choose Tomah. I was in the Marine Corps. I put down roots here for a job working for the Wisconsin National Guard. Gotta switch it up. And then, federal service has been something that's been really big to me, and that's really public service. And this is what I want to extend to. I want to help the community that I live in because I chose this town. And this is the town I want to be in, and I want to see it thrive. And I honestly believe that education is the foundation of any community. I do have 2 kids. They have been through this educational system. I have one in 5th grade now, and the other one is in 7th grade. And they're going to continue their education in the Tomah Area School District until they graduate. That being said, by day I'm a data engineer. I do lots of data analysis. I worked on a lot of financial systems for the National Guard and for the U.S. Treasury. So fiscal responsibility is kind of baked into my job, and I hope to bring that if I'm elected to the board. And thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Mrs. Bloom, you have 2 minutes.
Hi, again, thanks to everyone for coming. My name is Susan Bloom. I grew up in Tomah and have been here my whole life. I graduated from Tomah High School in 1974. My husband also graduated in 74. We have 3 children that have gone through Tomah High School, 2 of which are teachers in the middle school right now. And I also have a daughter-in-law that teaches at one of the elementary schools. I got involved in this because I've been a part of the Tomah school part of it for a long time, ever since I was in school, and my kids are very active in sports, and so that carried on. I have 7 grandchildren that will be going through the Tomah school system. The oldest right now is in 7th grade, and the youngest hasn't started yet. But I'd like to see it improve. We've got some good building blocks to get started. We've got some work to do too. But I want to see it better for them because the opportunities are so much greater than they were when I was in school. The doors are open for everything, and I want to be able to help them to be able to experience all of that for themselves.
All right, thank you. So now we'll begin the questions. We'll start off with question number 1 for Mr. Murray. What motivates you to want to become a school board member?
Again, having as many family members involved with the educational system, seeing the importance of education for our communities, I think that helps grow our communities with the strength of our educational system. And being able to have some input on some of the decisions that are made, have some good conversations sometimes, and maybe sometimes they change our minds on what we were thinking were the right thing to do. But, we're one voice of 7, so we have to present our case and listen to everybody else present their case, and then make the final decision. But I don't think we can ever take the education away from our children, our communities. People that move to our communities kind of look at our educational system before they decide if they want to move here or not. So again, I truly believe that education is more than just schooling. It is part of the city itself too. So.
All right, thank you. If you'd like me to repeat the question,
No, thank you.
Okay.
Well, as already stated, I'm hoping to make change. I do plan on getting on the school board, so vote for me. I can't say that, never mind. The problem is, like I said, people, they have good intentions, but it's easy to get stuck on one idea, and sometimes people don't change. You have to look at everything. There is opportunity in Tomah. We have to stay within our means. And I said, part of it is my grandchildren are in school, and back to the drug thing. I don't like it. It's not working.
Reason why I think it would be a good school board candidate is I'm very curious and I do enjoy a good tax form, and my wife will laugh at that later. She'd agree. So numbers have always acted like a puzzle in growing up, and I've always enjoyed solving problems that weren't clear. And I see the school board being very complex. I see the district, the community engagement. It's going to be a challenge, but it's also a great opportunity. And I get overzealous and I get passionate about it, and this is one thing that I know that that passion, dedication is going to go to the best cause that we have.
I want to be on the school board. It really boils down to, just kind of the words Tomah pride. I grew up here like forever, like I said, and I kind of sometimes joke about 2/3 of my wardrobe is black and gold, and it's really the truth. I mean, it honestly is. I sometimes get scared to wear Badger clothes because they're also the same color as Sparta. So, but no, having, my mother-in-law was a long-term, Nadia Mikan was a long-time school board member. She's on the county board now. My brothers, like I said, they've been leaders. They've worked their way up from teachers to administrators, and like I said, one of them was a superintendent. So I'm just kind of surrounded by leaders. I've done some other leadership classes, things like that, and I just wanted to kind of take my turn and things. Back and forth. It's like a relay race. And then also, like I mentioned before, I was big into sports growing up. My kids were big into sports. I love the team aspect of things. And to be a very successful team, you need very successful team members at all levels of everything that you're doing. And I just felt like I could fit in really good on the school board as being a strong member there, helping our administrative leadership and our teachers down to all, with our bus drivers and all our janitors, everybody. I just felt like I could fit in very well as a very strong team member on the school board.
All right, can we get that question one more time?
Sure. What motivates you to become a school board member?
Oh, I only get 90 seconds, okay. All right, so what motivates me to be a school board member? All right, well, the first thing I want to say is I didn't choose education. Education kind of chose me into my life. At a very young age, my aunt was a school teacher. She was the only one in my family that had a college education, and that was my main goal growing up, is to get a college education. So I idolized her. I watched her go through public education. I watched all the struggles she went through. And then I ended up marrying a school teacher who currently teaches here at Lemon Wire. Education's been in my life, since I was very little. And I'm very passionate. My kids go to these two schools. I feel like I have a very analytical mind. And these problems that the school board faces are very complex. They're very hard. There is no black and white answer. It is always gray. So it takes a massive amount of brain power, a massive amount of thinking. You lose sleep at night thinking about the problems that are faced at our school. And I don't mind doing that. I love it. This is what I'm passionate about. And that's why I'm motivated. Thank you.
Well, I think I sort of answered that question at the very beginning of my opening comments, because the grandchildren are probably my primary reason for doing this. As I said, I'd like to see the school improve. I retired from Gunderson Clinic 10 years ago, and a good portion of that time, we were always recruiting new doctors to come to the area. And part of the things that they look at for anybody coming into a new area is your healthcare system, your school system, and the infrastructure of your community. And so in order to encourage people to come and build a strong community, you need to have a really solid school. And so my goal is to keep working towards that, to improve what we're able to offer the kids for outside services, for further education, and even going into the trades, if that seems to be their calling. There's a great need for that these days too, and I think we need to start to kind of address that as well. So that's probably my primary reasons.
Awesome, thank you. We'll start with our second question with Mr. Key. How does the school board balance the need to provide quality education with the need to be fiscally responsible to the local taxpayer?
We have to better manage our money. There's so many millions coming into the Tomah school system. It's confusing if you even look at what they show us. So I think we need to dig deeper and find and do a better job of handling the funds we have coming in. We're talking millions and millions and millions. Where's it all going? We got a right to know. That's another reason I'd like to find out.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes. How does the school board balance the need to provide quality education with the need to be fiscally responsible to the local taxpayer?
First and foremost, identify the brutal facts that we face. Brutal facts is we have a very high special education need, 1 in 4 students. And we are coming up on, I believe, a referendum, and if we look at our sister city Sparta, the impact of not gaining the trust of the community that your tax dollars are going towards the right things, theirs failed. And that resulted in a loss of $25 per student. Our student population, that's $1 million lost to the school. And we have $41 million to our annual budget according to last year. Really, it's line item. What must we do versus what we want to do, and what can we risk not doing? It's a hard choice, but that's goes back to the transparency piece, where the board has to be members, active members with both the city and the community, the parents, students, and staff.
So, getting the quality education, being fiscally responsible, kind of, again, I don't mean to keep repeating my theme, but it goes down to working as a good team. And it begins with having a very good administrator that we're going to be getting a new one this year, so we'll be working closely with them. And then it goes down to your business manager. I think we have a fantastic business manager, Michelle Clark. She's been in the school district for a long time, and she does a very good job at showing us exactly where all the money is going. We see it quarterly, we see it quite often. So the big difference though too is today's classrooms, they can't look like they looked back when I went to school or some of you went to school. We're not sitting so evenly in rows. We've got to learn new ways of learning and things, and figuring out a way to get our classrooms to make that education look a little smoother for today's kids and things. So it is very difficult to figure out those things, but that's what it takes. It takes all of us. It takes the 7 of us that are on the board working together with all of our people to spend those funds in a very responsible manner and come up with those places where our kids will learn very effectively. Okay, I'm good. Oh yeah, he might need it. Yeah. There you go.
All right, so the question is, balancing quality learning with fiscal responsibility, is that correct?
That is
Perfect. All right, sorry. Anyways, all right, it's very hard. And really it's gonna boil down to, plain and simply, it's raw grit and determination from the board members. It's a very challenging thing to do. Now, we do need to work. We have some issues right now. I will be, there's transparency issues. It's very difficult. The way we spend money is public. You can get it. There's open record requests. It shouldn't have to be that way. And then you have to deal with translating that. I think we should adopt a more public-facing mindset. I think everyone who comes up here and speaks is a public servant. So we must be speaking to that fact. We're speaking to where the public can understand, because we have to, it's our duty to, oh Lord, it's our duty to, the community has to see the school district as an investment, not a liability. And that's our job. That's the district's job. That's our administration's job to do that. So it's the job of the board to really promote that. Make those hard decisions. Do that analytical, have that analytical mindset. Make those tough decisions. Thank you.
As one of the other candidates mentioned, these are tough decisions, and I don't sleep very well at night sometimes after some of these school board meetings, because I feel bad that we can't say yes to everything. These decisions are hard. Somebody has to be told no, and we have to decide our needs over our wants. We want a lot of things, but there are some things that we need and have to take priority, and some of those wants have to take a back seat, unfortunately. But we do need a cohesive board that works together, and I think we do a good job at that. As far as budget items being public, anybody can contact Michelle Clark for our budget for the whole year, our annual budget and the spending. That's all available to you if you choose to ask or come to a meeting to hear that. But there's always some of the decisions sometimes that we get presented seem to be relatively easy, but they're not. There's always two sides to every story. And sometimes the gray part in the middle is the actual truth. I hear a lot from my kids that teach at middle school, which is a pretty volatile area sometimes. And I wish I could go in there and just fix it, but that's not possible because there's always another side to the story that you have to weigh it and see what's most important. But having a good cohesive board will go a long way to making those decisions a little bit easier for us to make.
How does the school board balance the need to provide quality education with the need to be fiscally responsible to the local taxpayer?
Well, again, we've heard it, we have to really rely on our business manager to provide us with the real information that we need to make the decisions. We have numerous committees that we'll all be sitting on if we're elected to that, to the next seat, but just the facility committee itself, looking at the needs of buildings and what has to be done. We have to look at what money we have in our funds. What do we need to get done today that, can't wait? And those are the decisions we have to make. But unfortunately, we also have to look at our teachers, our substitute teachers, support staff. We have to look at what we're paying them as well. And so there are gives and takes, but without teachers, without support staff, we're not going to be sitting very well as a school district. So we cannot stop looking at what we can do for them.
All right, thank you. For our third question, we'll start with you. What are the top needs of our district? And then, what are the best things our district has to offer students and staff?
Second part, the best things that students and staff, going to a lot of school board meetings, you hear a lot about the professional development and initiatives that our schools are doing. And they're being very proactive on addressing their issues internally. The fact that we have a fairly high, based on what I can find, staff that is very educated, and over 150 faculty and teachers with master's degrees. That's pretty amazing in my point of view. Can you repeat the first part, please?
Sure. What are the top needs of our district?
One of the top needs is to make sure our band program, our band program survives. It has grown exponentially, big word, and that involvement early on is just a benefit in their later years. Thank you.
Really quick, I'm sorry, one more time.
So what are the top needs of our district, and then what are the best things our district has to offer students and staff?
90 seconds, this will be quick. Top needs, I think there's two top needs that I think come to mind for me immediately would be, with certain parts of us, I think we have a little bit of a disconnect with everybody, whether it's even right within the school district itself or within some of the public, with city officials, things like that, but it's getting better. We definitely have made the steps in the right direction. We still gotta go ways, we still gotta make sure we continue, everybody likes to throw out the word transparent, so we need to continue to do whatever, as much as we can to make everything we do as transparent as possible, and reconnect everybody together. It's gonna probably start at the top right away. Like I said, this summer, we're gonna get a new superintendent, and we're all gonna have to work together to start it right from that get-go. Second part?
Second part is, what are the
Best things. The best things, I guess, in general, are just our staff. Our staff, I don't like to use the phrase, but our staff is making it work. Our staff is making it happen. So I think, we have a lot of elementary schools. We're still staying out in the rural areas. We're staying as close to our families as we can and trying to offer them the best that we can. So I think we have a very good team in place, and we just need to continue to make that stronger and continue to offer, a great education for all of our kids. 90 seconds.
All right, can we get that question one more time?
sure. So what are the top needs of our district? And then, what are the best things our district has to offer students and staff?
All right, top needs for our district. We need 9 minutes, but all right. So the first thing, first and foremost, is we need to support our educators. They are the front lines here. We're losing staff at an alarming rate. We need to get them in control. We need to find the root causes. And I think we're doing a good job. I think we're doing better at that. But we need to continue that pace. There's definitely room for improvement there. Second, we are getting a new superintendent this summer. This is an opportunity to start a new relationship. Establish new standards, establish a new way we can communicate with our district administration. We really, really need to focus on getting that nailed down. Third, we need to look at behavior in our schools. I do know that it's an ongoing issue. My kids have reported it several times to me. It's very alarming what I hear goes on every day. I think this is in part with some of the way we report data up in the schools. This is also how our teachers are burning out, which allows that to happen. 30 seconds, oh Lord. And what I think is great about our schools, I think we have an excellent extracurricular activity. There's an extracurricular for everything in our school. My kids are never bored. We have an excellent CTE program. I know one of our candidates mentioned the band. They are state recognized. I follow them around because my kids, that's the activity they chose. But they get a lot of recognition. And the kids feel really proud of those extracurriculars.
I think our most immediate concern right now is the hiring of our new superintendent. And in working with several of these others have stated about the disconnect with the public and also the disconnect with the parents as well. I think we need to go back to getting more parent involvement with the school system and with their students and helping them to be able to encourage their students to realize that education is really important. I think through COVID, some of that value of education got lost there because we got slapped in the face with changing things so soon that we really weren't ready for that. And we haven't kind of regrouped there. But they have started the new PLC process, which has only been in place for about 3 years. So hopefully we shall see some increase in testing scores. Reading now has gone back to phonics, thankfully. So that should help in that area. As any of us older folks know, that's the best way to learn how to read and comprehend what you read. So getting back to that disconnect, I think that's it's a big issue for us as a school board, for our community, and for the relationship with the parents with the school board. And that doesn't cost a penny. We have to work on that.
Any question again? What are the top needs of our district, and then what are the best things our district has to offer students and staff?
Again, I think that the needs are we have to get discipline under control in every building that we have. If we can't get that under control, the teachers can't teach their lessons that need to be taught. You know, one of the scary things you think about is they've got kids that are coming from the lower level classes and they're 2 or 3 grades behind, grade levels behind where they should be at. And that to me is very alarming. And we have to really take a look at what's happening, what's causing that, and we've got to get that disconnect fixed, because teachers can't be miracle workers. If the kids are not coming at least 1 grade behind or maybe at grade level, they're never going to get to that grade. If they're 4 grades behind, you're never going to get them to that grade that they should be in that year's time. It's not going to happen. And we've got to get that fixed. So the other thing I think that we have that's good is we do have programs for kids that can take college courses and get credits for college courses and those types of things. What a great opportunity for our kids in the community that they can go to school or get these credits so they don't have to pay the money down the road. So we have work to do.
One more time. Sure. What are the top needs of our district, and then what are the best things our district has to offer students and staff?
Well, I'll start with the best thing. We've spent a lot of money, we have some very intelligent people trying to help the children. That's the best part. Now, the sad thing is, we need to win the trust back of the residents. And one thing that would really help is stop using imaginary graphs. Use the actual numbers, because that's just like lying. The graph don't mean nothing. You have to use the actual numbers when you send out questionnaires, or even how well the children are doing in the schools. Actual numbers. And that is one way to start winning the trust back from the taxpayers.
Number 4 this time. Start with this one. All right, Mr. Zini, I'll ask the question, what is your stance on integrating AI tools into the classroom?
Integrating AI is definitely coming, or already here, I guess, in some regards. And we already are starting to use it in some parts of it. I actually did a recent visit with some of our staff, and Ms. Hannes went along. We went to Western Technical College, and they're starting to use some of that very well. And they talked about how we were leading the way in the local area in like our technology stuff and everything, and they're hoping that we'll continue to do that. So I think we've started it. And I think we need to continue to keep an eye on it. Am I a huge fan of instantly saying AI is going to solve all our problems? No, I watched Terminator 2, so we don't want that. But it definitely is going to be a piece that we need to continue to monitor and grasp it as it continues to evolve and use it correctly in our schools.
All right, can we get that question one more time? I'm gonna ask every time.
Hey, no problem. That's what I'm here for. What is your stance on integrating AI tools into the classroom?
All right, fantastic. All right, so AI, this is actually one of my specialties. This is actually what I do in my day job. I'm currently doing artificial intelligence for a quick trip. I've done it for the U.S. Treasury, and it's coming. However, there is a lot of governance, a lot of gotchas, especially that the education is going to face, because with AI, there's blind trust sometimes, and it can degrade. And if we continue to use AI solely, and we don't, actually put our brains towards when we're making curriculum, when we're doing that, we have to teach our students that as well. It's going to go into a vicious cycle where all we're feeding these large language models is the same stuff they put out. So there's a lot of technical challenges that we have to do. We really have to lean on staff like Paul Potter to really provide that guidance and really have a firm understanding of AI. It's coming. This is something we should be involving in our schools, AI responsibility, how to use AI, and then, get it incorporated into some of our CTEs, because some of our students are going to learn this. Some of our students are going to be administrating this growing up, and it's a very, very good business to get into right now. But it does come with some challenges, and we have to really get that under control, and it's going to take a very strong governance system to do that.
Well, I'll be honest and say AI scares me a little bit, but because I probably don't understand it as well as I should. But I've heard at the state convention in Milwaukee, different ways that different school systems are using this in their classroom to assist the teacher with a different group of children. They can work on the AI process, use it that way. During COVID, as I mentioned before, teachers were overnight having to use computer resources and that type of thing, Zoom, things that they never had to use before. So hopefully they learned some interesting techniques and found some new resources to use for that. And all of us probably use AI more than we realize now. And like anything that's new, we can see the good parts of it, and we just have to be wary of the bad things that can happen. And I think Mr. Potter does a good job of keeping us on track that way. There are some school districts that have gone all in, one down by Milwaukee, and it was told to us if we wanted any questions about some of that stuff to contact them, because they're breaking the ground on that. So for me, I just let somebody else break ground on it and not us be the ones to be the leaders there in the field and just see what works for everybody first.
Okay, well, I would go ahead and agree with Susan on her stuff, being that I think we need to take baby steps, not leap into the AI all force in or all in. Let's learn from it, learn what the teachers can do with it to help in classrooms and those kinds of things, but we've got the PLC process going on right now. Can that help jump in and help with any of that kind of stuff? I don't know. But I think, again, it is going to be a learning curve, but baby steps would be the way that I think we need to go before we just all jump in and start messing with AI.
Well, AI is actually a program written by somebody super smart. So whatever that comes with that program is what your kids are going to be taught, which is kind of scary in its way. I personally believe that AI should not be used by any kid until they learn to read, write, and add, and write in cursive. Maybe talking senior high if it takes that long. That's my statement.
AI, just with everything else, it's a tool. But I think it has great opportunity if it's understood better. And this goes more into a digital media literacy that starts in the elementary school. They understand the basics there, and also, how to keep themselves safe. It's needed at the middle school, it's needed at the high school. The benefit from it, by using it, you can easily integrate the scientific method in crafting questions for it to spit out all kinds of data and information that you're trying to dig into. You're trying to dig into a root cause of something. AI is great for that, and if students have a high digital media literacy, they will be able to use it much more effectively for the right reasons in a safe environment.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fries, Tomah will have a new superintendent next year. What are your top 3 leadership qualities you believe are essential for our next administrator to lead Tomah successfully?
All right, top 3 leadership qualities. 1, they really, like, we need to feel the passion. They're superintendent of our schools. We need to feel them bleed Tomah colors. They need to be out there. They need to be present. We need to see them, and when we go to school functions around, available. They need to be, a presence everywhere we go. We also need, I think that's where the primary disconnect we have between the board and the Tomah Area School District exists right now. We need a leadership that is honest, transparent, not afraid to admit mistakes that have bubbled up in the Tomah Area School District. How are we going to fix those problems if they are shielded from everyone, even at the top level? We have to get that under control. So we need honesty and humility to admit those mistakes that have happened. We gotta fix them. Not a big deal. Let's fix them. So we talked about honesty. We talked about 30 seconds. We talked about passion. And then, so the last one is really just, you need to be a servant leader. You need to be a servant leader for your staff. You need to listen to them. You need to let all those issues bubble up and go to the board. So that we're aware. And we need to see that.
Well, communication's first, it always is. You can never have too much, and it can never be as good as you'd like it to be. But communication for sure with families and parents, grandparents, and communication with the board as well. Also to try to build some school pride in the community. I feel that that's kind of lacking a little bit there. Also connect with parents and families in the community and be a part of the community, not just be the superintendent of the school, but be a part of other activities in the school where you should say he, she, whomever is seen in the community, so people recognize that that's the superintendent of the Tomah school system, and then build that common piece that way. I guess that's 3, so.
All right, well, I think that our new superintendent coming in is going to have his hands full for a while. I mean, we've got an awful lot of school buildings, a lot of employees, and if he's not willing to be accessible and out in the public and into the buildings, I think that's going to be trouble, because we have to get the superintendent in the schools, not in the district office. He needs to be out there, visible, answering questions, and making sure things are happening in the buildings. And, I mean, if he stations himself at the district office, that's all he's gonna see. So we've gotta make sure he's out there, he's visible, and he's gotta be communicating with the board, with the city, the parents, the students, with many of the things as well. So transparency would be probably maybe what would be the highest or the biggest thing that I think he needs to make sure he's doing.
Well, my opinion is if the new superintendent does not do what he's supposed to do, that's on the school board, because the superintendent answers to the school board. That's it.
Can you repeat the question? Sure. Tomah will have a new superintendent next year. What are the top 3 leadership qualities you believe are essential for our next administrator to lead Tomah successfully?
First one I'm gonna steal, be curious over being judgmental. This has to be number 1. They're coming into something new, they have to learn it first before starting to shift things around. Second would be hopefully intent-based leadership. This is, the people in the community, the teachers that have been here decades, like, they have solutions. They just don't have the agency to execute them. Give them the agency. Trust the people who have been there, who have been dedicated for decades, that they know how to do their job and they know solutions that are there. The third, I would say, is just service. Being on the board is service. Being part of the school district is service, being a teacher is service. So I would like them to increase service to the community through projects through the VA, Ho Chi Minh Nation, and both our military bases that we have nearby. I think it's a great opportunity there.
So 3 characteristics of our superintendent. I think the first one that comes to mind right off the bat is authentic. It needs to be a very authentic person, that you believe what they say, and you're going to believe that that person believes in what they're saying and going to follow through with it. So and then the next thing I think would be an open door type person, a person that's willing to let you be able to go and visit in the office, or again being visible in the public. Being able to walk up to this person and know you're going to get a serious conversation from this person about serious matters, and get an authentic, true, heartfelt conversation with that person. And then I think the last thing is kind of a double word. They need to be flexible and kind of forward thinking. We've all talked, we had a referendum not pass, a huge referendum not pass, but so that means we need to come up with new ways to be flexible with the way we're going to, fix some things and move forward. So the person needs to be very forward thinking and coming up with new ideas of how we can make things work, sort of with what we have, or making easier fixes, smaller fixes, and starting to climb that ladder, getting us, into the future in a very positive manner.
All right, Ms. Bloom, this next question is for you. Teachers around the country are reporting high levels of burnout due to behavioral issues. What is your role as a school board member to support a positive and safe learning environment for all students and staff within the district?
That's a tough one. And this is my opinion. These students didn't come to these schools misbehaving. They came to our door with issues already. And we're expecting the school to fix it, to fix their behavior problems, where they started at home. And just the bad situation that some of these kids are living in, it breaks your heart. If you'd ever been to the Rachel's Challenge program, you can see how many kids are struggling with just abuse and neglect and things like that at home. So of course their behavior is bad or not acceptable, let's put it that way. So I would like to, the teachers have to help, but they didn't go to school to be an educator as well as a guidance counselor, a social worker, a suicide prevention person, and everything else. We're asking a lot of them to do that. And I truly feel we gotta push it back on the families. Because mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, they've gotta help us. They've gotta help us. The school can help them, most definitely. And we can try to help them offer resources to help within their family unit. But that's where it's starting. It didn't start in school. They came to us with these problems. And we're gonna try to help as best we can. But mom, dad, grandparents, churches, community, we need help.
Teachers around the country are reporting high levels of burnout due to behavioral issues. What is your role as a school board member to support a positive and safe learning environment for students and staff in the district?
Well, I think we've taken some steps to hopefully help with some of that, but we also have to get the people that are responsible for following up or following through with some of these programs that is actually happening. We can't rely on the teachers to take all of the discipline on their shoulders. We have principals, assistant principals, we have dean of students, we have job coaches and things that can jump in and help with these things, but we've got to be able to keep the teachers in the classroom, teaching the kids, not spending their time writing up referrals and having to answer to the parents, because we have administrators and things that don't feel that that's their jobs. And I'm sorry, it is their jobs, and we have to make sure that that's happening in the buildings. And if it's not, we need to get it fixed.
Well, I believe that some parents might be responsible for the bad attitude of children, but let's go back to the drugs. When you put a child on drugs, it's like somebody being an alcoholic, especially some of the more powerful drugs. By the time they're in the senior high, they no longer have a conscience. You can scold them, they're going to do the same thing tomorrow. And what happened to the policies that were supposed to be there when kids were acting up before? Why were they never enforced? It's going on every day, just not in Tomah. It's going on everywhere. People think they get a good reputation by ignoring stuff. And it's hurt the Tomah school system because people know they take their kids out of school, they homeschool. It's not good. We have to put our foot down. And it's all combined with lack of us not being involved. Well, it's time to get involved in order to straighten this out.
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Teachers around the country are reporting high levels of burnout due to behavioral issues. What is your role as a school board member to support a positive and safe learning environment for all students and staff within the district?
So the school board affects policy. However, that policy has to promote action and enforceability and give agency to teachers and staff to act and not fear inaction, retribution, anything like that. Parents need the confidence that the board is looking out for their child's safety. The students need that as well, because if they don't feel like they're in a safe environment, they're not going to learn. And it just spirals. The facts that we face are, again, hard. 1 in 2 students classify, almost 1 in 2 students classify as economically disadvantaged. So to me, that means parents aren't home, they're working. 1 in 4 need special education. We need the staff there to assist the teachers, the special education experts that can be there and assist the teachers so they can focus on teaching.
So behaviorals in regards to school board. So I think we're headed towards some help. And part of that comes with, in the educational community, we're throwing around the acronym PLC. It stands for Professional Learning Community. And we've really backed that as a board and as an administration. Our staff has really taken heart to this really good. And what it basically means is we're coming up with ideas. They're collaborating. That's our early outs on Wednesdays. They're collaborating together to come up with solutions to everything. When it comes to grading, they're making sure they're on the same pages of all that. And it comes to behaviors as well. I've heard teachers talk about that as well. They're talking about collaborating, and they're like, how do you deal with this type of situation? How do you deal with these kids? How do you do that? So I think putting that PLC process in place has started the right direction. But we need to continue to look at that. At a board level, policies is one of the primary things we have. We have several things that is our job as a board, and one of the primary ones is policy work. So we need to continue to look at the policies, adapt policies that are going to help the teachers, help the staff, help the administrators, and then make sure that we're giving them the support to follow through with those policies and enforce them. So.
Sorry. All right, I think we're back on line. All right, can you repeat the question one more time?
Teachers around the country are reporting high levels of burnout due to behavioral issues. What is your role as a school board member to support a positive and safe learning environment for all students and staff within the district?
All right, thank you. All right, so for the first time, we've been having a lot of presentations on PBIS data given to the board, and I've attended several of them. And this is kind of what started my journey getting involved with the school board, was some of the behavioral issues that I had in Lindenwire. And then come to find out after a 3-hour conversation with some of the admin staff, I learned that not only are referrals not getting, written, sometimes when they're getting written, they're just getting removed. We're altering the data that's being presented. So we're ultimately just not getting the full picture at the top level. We're getting these pretty graphs, and over again, we're getting that. Hopefully with the new superintendent coming, we can establish that relationship and get that honest feedback back, get that honest data back, so we can actually start taking action. Like I said, there is the PLC process. I've talked to several teachers. Behavior is definitely in there, but it's definitely not on the forefront either. We need to work on that. That's one of the major drivers that our teachers are leaving us. And every time a teacher leaves, on average, that's 11 years of experience in the Tomah area school district that we're losing. We can't do that. Thank you.
All right, that concludes our questions. We'll move on to the closing comments, and we'll start with Mrs. Bloom. You have 2 minutes.
Well, I'm running, this will be for my 3rd term as a school board member. And in all actuality, any new member, it takes you a good year to year and a half to figure out what's going on as far as the financial piece of it, where the money comes, where the money goes, and just getting the feel for the board. But I feel like I've got that now and can move forward. Education's changing, and we all have to change with it as well and adapt to the new way, the new career choices that are out there, and begin to offer more options for our students is for their career and just for better citizenship in their basic lives. We also need to work on building a better trust with our administration, the board, families, in the community, and so on, and to put the Tomah school system or the Tomah district at the forefront of our community. And I think as a community as a whole would grow from that growth as well. So we've got a lot of work to do, but I feel like we're on the right track. And we offer a lot of great things at the high school level with college graduates. We've had some students already starting college as college sophomores. So despite, I know we have the issues with behaviors, but there's some good things going on too, and we can't forget about those. And so the DECA, FFA groups, they're all doing outstanding work, and the band as well. So we have to build on those. We've got the good building blocks to go forward, and we just have to fix all the rest of it and bring it up along with us.
All right. I guess it's my turn. So, in conclusion, I mean, you've heard each of these candidates speak on issues for 9 minutes. I would advise you all to take and do your research. I'm available at any time. You can look me up, Ryan DeFreitas for Tomah Area School Board. I have my email there, it's published. I have my phone number. You call me at 2 in the morning, I may be a little groggy, but I'll answer the phone. You're not going to meet someone more passionate about education and reforming Tomah Area School District than I am. I think that's my honest and true opinion. I think it's time for some new ideas. We've had some, I feel like we've had some stagnation. I'm not saying we need to turn over the entire board. That's not at all what I'm saying. But we need people that are innovators. We need people that are forward-thinking, and we need people that aren't going to fall into the same routine with this new administration coming this summer. And I think that's who I can be. So thank you.
Stand by.
All right. I remember when I first got on the board, and we had a similar forum to this, and I remember Opie Mosher asking me a question and just saying, what is your agenda when you get on? What do you want to do when you get on the board? And quite frankly, I answered right away. I said, I don't have an agenda. I just want to become a part of it, part of the Tomah team, and help things run smoothly and cohesively together. And I remember he came up to me afterwards and he said, that was great. I expected you to say you were going to be in it for the sports teams or you were going to be in it for that type of stuff. But it's really it's the whole package. And that's kind of what I'm here for. And coming up, we said it several times tonight, we've got a new super coming in, and I think it's going to be very important to have some people here that are able to help that person transition in smoothly and be able to show them around and tell some things that have worked and things that haven't worked. Obviously, they need to know the things that haven't worked, the things that we've done wrong, the things that anybody's done wrong before us, and the things that are right. So I think it's very important to have good leaders in there that are going to help make that a very smooth transition with everybody. And another thing I'm thinking of is, so Saturday, I'm actually going down to my oldest son, and we're going to find out the gender of my 3rd grandchild. And that's awesome, but that's also part of the reason I love being on the board, because it's scary. I wonder what's education going to look like for our kids coming up. My 4 boys have gone through, but I got granddaughters that are in pre-K now and things. And I want to be there trying to help steer things in the right direction and things. We've done some really good things when we've been on the board. You know, we have direct admin just got in, you know, for our kids to get into college easier. Like I said, we visited Western recently, and they said, you know, we're leading, we know that, we're leading the area in getting kids college now credits already, you know, ready to go, getting them prepared. And in the end, that's what we need to do. We need to take these kids, we need to get them so that in the end, they'll maybe choose Tomah as their home and be great for us here in the community.
You may have seen me around the, behind the scenes in the community, either helping build stages for the school plays, volunteering in the schools or as a substitute, even at the Tomah Middle School crossing guard for a little bit. I'm also a member of Booster Club, and I want the school to succeed, just like all parents. You know, I have kids who's got skin in the game, and I want what's best for them. And what's going to be best for them is going to be best for everyone. As a husband, I learned how to listen better, mostly. Parent unique needs of each child. As a soldier, learn that, you know, sometimes you have to be the one to ask the dumb questions. And, you know, strength to overcome adversity through faith. But what I really want is to restore faith in the school board, so the community believes in all the actions and decisions are done with the best interest of students. But how to do that is honestly to foster an environment where teachers wake up inspired and then go to bed fulfilled every day. That should be the goal. If we have teachers that do that, our students will thrive, regardless of all the other hardships and hard decisions we have to make. If we take care of them, give them agency, they will do the rest. Thank you.
Well, transparency, transparency, transparency. You cannot say that enough. That is how the board lost its trust. Not enough transparency. When on the board, I'd make sure that we were as transparent as legally possible. No hiding. The public has a right to know what's going on. And so far, we haven't been totally upfront with the information that we're getting. Not to cut down the school board, but that's what happened. And they know what I'm talking about. And another thing I would do is, we really need to work on this bullying and find out why so many of our children, not just in Tomah schools, but mainly Tomah, are on medication, which parents don't realize when you get a prescription, that is a controlled substance that you're putting your child on, possibly for the rest of their life. There's something wrong here. We need to look into that.
Through my time in Tomah, I was fortunate enough to be awarded twice the Friends of Education on the things that I've helped throughout the years in the city. And I think that hopefully says a lot about how important education is, not just to me, but to our community, that we have to give back. We have to be able to work towards keeping the teachers in the classrooms and not having them leave. And we, as a board, have to figure that out. And I'm hoping that with the new superintendent, we're in the right direction to get the school back on track, get the faith back in to the school board, and with the higher administration within our buildings. I mean, we have to get them back to leading, not hiding. And that's probably the biggest thing we've got to work on. So I hope that I can fill that third term and continue to work towards that and help the school district continue to improve and help the city improve as well. So, thank you very much.
All right, I want to thank the candidates and the audience, and I'll turn it over to Mrs.
All right, I also want to extend my thank you to everybody who came, to all the candidates, to put themselves out there, being willing to serve the school district and the city in general. So it does take a lot of courage to step up here and face all of you. So I did want to make a note. I'm assuming most of you probably already know, but there will be a community forum for the 3 finalists for our new superintendent on Monday, March the 23rd. It's scheduled to start at 5 o'clock, and it will be held in the high school auditorium. And the community is welcome to go. If you are a Facebooker, you can go to the Tomah Area School District page. There is an avenue where you can submit questions. The email is there that you would like the candidates to answer. So that is, just wanted to share that information in case anybody didn't know.
I can't remember her name, but she did say by tomorrow, if she could get all the questions that.
Oh, is that, okay.
I talked to her.
Okay, yes, so apparently the deadline is tomorrow to get your question in, so. And then, also just wanted to remind you that, Election Day is Tuesday, April the 7th, where you can, cast your vote for the mayors, the mayor candidates, the city alderpersons, and the, school board candidates. So hopefully everybody gets out there and, uses the right you have to vote. That concludes the evening. You're more than welcome to mingle if you want, but I'm sure we're running late here, so I'm sure most of you want to get home. But thank you again very much for coming. And I sincerely apologize for the problem with the microphone. The candidates did a wonderful job.
So on the Hagen Sports Network, we take you back to Thursday, March 19th for the Candidates Forum out here at the Cranberry Country Lodge, again on Thursday, March 19th. Kick things off with City, the 2 gentlemen running for mayor. And then you had the people that are also running for city council, and that was followed by the school board candidates. You saw a moment ago 6 candidates running for school board. So again, you've been looking back at the Candidates Forum out at the Cranberry Country Lodge on Thursday, the 19th of March. City first, mayoral, and then aldermanic, followed by the school board candidates. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope it was informative. Please get out and vote on Tuesday, April 2nd.